Hi everyone, it's Nicole again. Going over the third report, which is from Carver County Sheriff's Office, their investigation on Prince Rogers Nelson death. And this would be Sergeant J. Breunig, badge 822. All right, so on 4/21/16 at 9:43 a.m., Deputies Horvath and Hastings, along with a Ridgeview ambulance and Chanhassen Fire Rescue, were dispatched to Paisley Park on a report of male down who was not breathing. And already I got a problem because actually it was male down, male not breathing, and male dead. But okay. Paisley Park is located at 7801 Audubon Road in the city of Chanhassen. I, Sergeant Breunig, responded also to assist. Deputy Horvath, Deputy Hastings, Chanhassen CCSO Sanchez, members of the Chanhassen Fire Department, it says members, plural, and 2 Ridgeview paramedics arrived on scene before I did. When I arrived, I entered the building through the main entrance on the north side. I noted 3 adults in the lobby on the first floor. I continued to an elevator that's to the right, just past the lobby. On the floor outside of the elevator, I observed an adult male lying on his side on top of a crumpled rug. The male was dressed in pants, socks, no shoes, and some type of shirt. The male was later identified as Prince Rogers Nelson. Date of birth redacted. I spoke to Chanhassen Fire Chief Johnson, Chief 1, who was one of the first responders to arrive. Chief Johnson told me Nelson was still in the elevator when he arrived. Chief Johnson said he could not detect a pulse on Nelson, but believed he was still warm to the touch. Chief Johnson said he then drug, horrible wording, Nelson out of the elevator and initiated CPR. I then spoke to one of the paramedics on the scene. The paramedic told me that he observed signs of rigor mortis on Nelson's body, which indicated he had not died recently. The paramedic said they used a heart monitor to check for indications of a heart rhythm. The reading was asystole. Did I say that right? Flatline. That's another word for flatline. The paramedic then called med control at the Ridgeview Medical Center to consult with emergency room staff. It was after that when the paramedics advised that Nelson was pronounced deceased at 10:07 a.m. The paramedics spoke to the 3 people in the lobby and then cleared from the scene. Is this normal procedure when someone is deceased to then call med control at the emergency room? Is this because he's a celebrity? I just don't understand. That's not when he died. So then why would they call the time of death 10:07? Why would they do that? I just don't understand that. So if anybody knows the answer to that question, I would love to know. Okay. For anybody that's following along, by the way, this is page 18 out of the entire investigation. So it's 214 pages, but a lot of this is copy pasting, like Vanessa said, and we'll find that throughout the whole thing. Okay. Chief Johnson wanted to rule out the possibility of there being dangerous levels of carbon dioxide in the building. Chief Johnson said one of his firefighters had used a monitor and advised that carbon dioxide levels in the building were safe. Okay, so what that prompts me to think is that they didn't know what happened to Prince at that point. They were even thinking about carbon dioxide. Chief Johnson wanted to check the carbon dioxide levels in the in the parking garage. I had Deputy Horvath accompany Chief Johnson to the parking garage. They returned a few minutes later, and Chief Johnson advised the carbon dioxide levels in the parking garage were safe. All members of the Chanhassen Fire Department then cleared from the scene. I stayed near the body to protect the scene. I instructed Deputies Horvath and Hastings to take initial statements from the people in the lobby and to record them. I then contacted my immediate supervisor, Lieutenant Kittleson. I advised Lieutenant Kittleson of the situation and requested that he respond to the scene. I then contacted Detective Sergeant Meyer and advised him of the situation. Detective Sergeant Meyer said he would be responding with a team of detectives. I then requested that dispatch advise the medical examiner. I received a phone call a short time later from a medical examiner investigator. She said she would be responding to the scene after consulting with the pathologist. When Deputy Horvath was done taking initial statements from the people in the lobby, I directed him to the entrance of the parking lot on the property and told him to start a crime scene log. And then really quick, this is what I came up with after reading straight from the investigation. The order of arrival goes like this. Deputies Horvath and Hastings, Chanhassen CCSO Sanchez, and Chanhassen Fire Department, which is so far all we know of is Chief Johnson, but it did say plural in this here report. And then the 2 Ridgeview paramedics in the 1 ambulance all arrived at 9:48, and Sergeant Breunig showed up at that time but was last out of that group of people. And that's where Breunig says that he was last to arrive out of that group and that he saw 3 adults there. Just kind of a reminder. Which were Kirk Johnson, Marone Bacure, and Andrew Kornfeld. Not Schulenberg, not Josh or Hannah yet. All right. Okay. All right, so paragraph 6. When Detective Sergeant Meyer arrived on the scene, he asked that I join him and other law enforcement officers in doing a protective sweep of the property. The purpose of this is to find out if anyone else is on the property and to ensure that the scene is safe. An adult male by the name of Kirk Johnson accompanied us during the protective sweep. Kirk is a high-level staffer who was close to Nelson and had keys for the property. He don't know where the keys are at later. While we were on the 2nd floor of the building during the protective sweep, we noticed a black-colored glove and a black-colored garment, which appeared to be a jacket lying in the hallway. Kirk was asked if that seemed normal, and he replied that it was not normal, and that for that reason, he didn't touch it. I did not observe anyone or anything suspicious during the rest of the protective sweep of the interior of the building. So then, is he acknowledging that that was suspicious? I did not observe anything suspicious. During the remainder of my time on the scene, I assisted with interior, and I just want to cut myself off here for a second. So then why didn't that bring on its own set of questions right then and there? Like, if Kirk is saying that it's not normal, then why didn't that officer, that Breunig, why didn't Sergeant Breunig or anyone else, everyone can't be this incompetent, and I don't mean to be rude, and I know that people are human, but wouldn't that egg on its own conversation? But it didn't, as far as we know. During the remainder of my time on the scene, I assisted with interior scene security and assisted in guiding Hennepin County Sheriff's Office crime scene deputies to various parts of the building, and I left the scene twice for periods of time to get supplies needed at the scene. I completely cleared from the scene at approximately 4:45 p.m. End of report. All right, next on deck would be DeWitt Meyer. Stay tuned.